Welcome back to Tuesday, boys and girls. Well, today's book for you, it's called Jingle All the Way. Now, it's not really the Christmas song that we're talking about, but this little pet dog here, this puppy, his name is Jingle. So, I think it's a really cute story, but what I really like about this book is that it's got amazing artwork. So just as I enjoyed reading through the book, looking at the pictures, I hope you will also enjoy it as much as I do. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, let's see. So here we go. There are lots of stories about good little boys and girls, but there aren't many stories about good little dogs. But this is a story about Jingle the husky pup, and Jingle was a good dog. He never made a mess. He never chewed holes in things. He never, not even once, kept people awake at night with his barking. And he always, almost always did what he was told. Now, what they are trying to show you here is that this is an area where no dogs allowed. So Jingle was not supposed to be in here, but something caught his attention. It was appealing enough and interesting enough, and he broke the rules. So sometimes, maybe he does do what he's not supposed to, but most of the time he's pretty good. One day, Jingle was resting beside the front steps of Pineville Elementary School. Suddenly, the school bell began clanging out loud, and the children who were inside ran outside. That made Jingle very happy. There's a school. So, he came back the next day, and the same thing happened. The bell rang, and the children hurried out. It was amazing. Kevin patted his belly, Sarah scratched his ears, and Jennifer said, "Jingle, you're a good dog." So all the kids seem to really like Jingle too. Jingle loved to bark hello. Jingle even loved to sing. See how they're caroling together? But what Jingle loved most was being with his friends. He liked to race Kevin to the edge of the schoolyard, but every day Kevin said, "Bye, Jingle, it's time for me to go." Sometimes he followed Sarah to the school bus, but Sarah only said, "Sorry, Jingle, I've got to go home." One snowy day, Jingle even dashed all the way to Jennifer's house. Jennifer laughed. "Silly dog, Jingle, you have got to go home." Usually, Jingle did exactly what he was told, but since he didn't have a home, he couldn't go there. Instead, he went back to Pineville Elementary and waited for the school bell. He waited all night and all day, but it didn't rain. Now, as you can imagine, boys and girls, that's gotta be a little sad. So, Jingle decided to look for his friends. After all, they were the closest thing he had to a family. He searched everywhere, but the kids were nowhere to be found. He is all alone on the street. Then Jingle remembered seeing a very long line of kids at the toy store. What were they waiting for so patiently? Was it important? The very thought of finding his friends made Jingle want to sing. But when Jingle arrived at the store, there were no children. There was only a colorful storefront window and a whole lot of quiet. So even a toy store is closed and there was no one there. Again, Jingle is alone, all by himself. Jingle was tired from all his searching, so he made his way behind the toy store and plopped into the first soft place he found and fell fast asleep. And even though it didn't feel like a home, it was quite cozy. Moments later, someone carefully lifted the bag Jingle had snuggled into. "Well, what have we here?" A voice spoke warmly. "Someone all alone? At Christmas?" Placing the green velveteen bag in the front of his sled, the man remembered a letter he had been given earlier that day from a good little boy in the toy store. "Ho, ho, ho," he said to himself, "this gives me an idea." He wasn't sure what was going to happen, but suddenly Jingle felt very happy. The next morning, Jingle was surrounded by the smell of pine and peppermint. There was a fancy collar around his neck with a bell that jingled whenever he moved. But the best surprise of all came when Jingle saw Andrew, one of his friends from school. "It's Jingle," Andrew said. "Jingle, you're such a good dog." So finally, Jingle seems to have found a home where he is wanted and loved. Is that it? The two friends spent the rest of Christmas Day playing together, Jingle's bell ringing merrily all the while. That night, before Andrew turned out the lights in his room, Jingle hopped onto the bed. Andrew said, "Jingle, stay." And Jingle did. And that is the end of our story, Jingle All the Way. Now, I hope you liked the story, but especially the artwork as much as I did. But I also want you to remember how Jingle, in most of the story, he was alone and he didn't have a home. But eventually, he found a home to be at. And I've often wondered, how many people in our life were maybe they would like a sense of belonging to. Or maybe they just want people to show that they care and, to love them. What if we can also try to be our very best, try to do our very best to be family to whether people who are already our family or maybe even people who are not part of our family? What if we do our best to make them feel that way? So, I hope you will carry this message with you and then come back again tomorrow. I'll have another great book for you. All right, happy Tuesday. Bye.